I'm going to go ahead and welcome you all. Again, my name is Jessica Lucke, and I am the success coach at Altos Research, here hosting our Lunch and Learn. We're going to go ahead and get started. Whether you're brand new to Altos or you've been a longtime client, the new Lunch and Learn series is an opportunity for us to go beyond the simple how-to. Super exciting for me. And start thinking about strategies for improving our usage. Okay. Better yet, to improve our business. I'm hoping this session inspires you to move forward with confidence. In this short session, I'll be walking you through what makes advanced analytics different than our market reports. They're uniquely different. We'll walk through use cases for incorporating the unique data, the visualizations into conversations with your clients, and ways to incorporate advanced analytics into your marketing efforts. Okay. By the end of the session, you'll have a better understanding of this new tool. I'll share with you, if you don't have access to it now, how to gain access to it. And I hope that you appreciate the value it can add to discussions and hopefully add it to your portfolio. Okay, so again, be sure to utilize the chat feature. We've got a QA that can happen there. We've got our Altos Pro Jeff, and he's keeping an eye on manning the chat. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can have something a little bit more exciting to look at. Okay, so what you should be able to see at this time is that we've got my Altos account open, right? So first things first, who has access to advanced analytics? So maybe you've clicked on advanced analytics and you haven't known where to go. Maybe it says, hey, here's some information. Just so you're aware, advanced analytics is available for our premium account owners, right? So what does that mean? So our premium account owners is a single county or greater, right? So if you're in a professional level account, which allows for up to 10 reports, then you'll want to upgrade for a full county. Part of the reason for that is really just having enough data to access, right? Having 10 locations and doing, heavy analytics, you'll want to have more areas to be able to do that comparison. Okay, so you'll want to make sure that if it's something that you're interested in exploring, remember, you can try it out. You don't have to sign a contract for a year or anything like that. So you can go ahead and sign it, try it out. You'll want to upgrade to at least a premium level. Okay, so how do you go about that upgrade? It's something that you can do yourself, right? So what you would do is you would go ahead and click on New Report. You'll want to make sure that you click the tab Counties. When you click on Counties, search for your county and hit that search button, and it will prompt you to upgrade. Okay, and so follow that route. Once you do that, it will unlock the advanced analytics for you. Now, the alternative is just send off a note to support@altosresearch.com, and we'll be happy to do that. Whether you go ahead and send an email or you click on help, contact support, and just say, hey, I'd love to try advanced analytics. And I hope you do. Okay. All right. So for those of you who have advanced analytics and you're still kind of like, oh, well, I'm not sure how to get started. What are the use cases? That's what we'll talk about today. One of the biggest questions I get is, hey, how is advanced analytics different than market reports, right? So our market reports, just to kind of step back, right? Our market reports answer the question, how's the market today for a specific location? So when you sign up for an Altos account, you determine your locations. Now, whether it's a county, which will include every city and zip code within that county as an individual report, or maybe you have a professional level, which you have up to 10 reports. Each one is a unique location, right? And I have my location pulled up. So here's a report for 95032. What you'll notice is that it's made up of a series of data visualizations. It is a report that has a unique URL that has a lot of data. Okay, so as you'll see here, but it's unique for 95032. It's something that you can print. You can go to share, convert to a single page PDF, print it, take it with you, right? Again, it's made up of a series of different data visualization. For example, our real-time market profile here is a data visualization. just like our market action index. One of my favorites, it's the speedometer. The higher the number, the hotter the market. Now, every report has a variety of charts. Again, a chart is a data visualization, right? Where you can come in here, change it. You can look at total inventory. You can break it down by segments, okay? You can decide what you're looking at. You can change the data visualization. Can you do a comparison here with total inventory for all of Los Gatos? No. Can I do a comparison with another zip code within this chart? No, because our reports are unique to one location. At this time, we don't combine multiple zips into a single report. Now, what if you wanted these to live independently, right? That would be those data visualizations taken outside of that report. So if we go back to our account, yes, you can get those individual components that make up that specific report by using the filter here, 95032. Here's our report. Here's our embed, and we can get these images. Yes, you can get the chart. Yes, you can get the market profile. And you can get the market action index. They will match what you see in your report for that specific location. What is advanced analytics in comparison to what we see with our market report? Well, advanced analytics is the ability to go beyond, to go and create additional data visualizations. This is my dashboard, which we'll come back to. But again, what this allows us to do is click on New Analysis and create a variety of different components that you can monitor over time on your own or share with your clients. Beef up your listing presentations. Sit with your buyers and help them understand what zip codes are best for them given their budget. Those types of questions can be answered using the advanced analytics tool. So looking at this, when we first click on New Analysis, what on earth do we do? So on the left-hand side, you'll see here that you can configure whatever data visualization you'd like to. The first one is pretty straightforward, right? It's our line graph. Here we are. This is giving Colorado, right? Now, what's great about using advanced analytics is that you can do a comparison. What if you wanted to compare different zip codes, different cities, and see the different median price over time? This gives historical data. So median price is determined here because that's what we've set up as our data point, right? You can change this title. You can change it, median price versus inventory, because using this tool allows you to also compare statistics. So if we wanted to come down here and say inventory, you can select it and have that comparison. Okay. Now we can change the location. I can add here Los Gatos. All right, the zip code, let's see. Okay, great. And then we remove Colorado. Okay, now we can go ahead and get down into the nitty gritty here. This gives us 3 years. Well, maybe we don't want to see 3 years. We can go and do 1 year. Okay, and see how that's changed over time. We can even go 3 months if we want a clearer picture as to what's truly happening. Okay, so you can change this information. In fact, you can customize if you'd like. If you want to go further than 5 years, assuming that we've gone and captured data in that area for longer than 5, and most areas as we have, you can customize this. Okay. Now, what if I wanted to go ahead and see the inventory for a variety of areas, right? So we go here and say, okay, San Jose, and add it. So it will go ahead and build the chart for inventory for 2 locations. Okay. If I want to keep adding to that, I can. So this allows you, again, to make that particular data visualization, the line chart, where you're comparing different locations and a statistic, or you go and you say a location and different statistics. It's totally up to you. You can build this how you'd like. Scroll down and you have even more. You can go ahead and break it down by segment, by residence type. Maybe you'd like to go and say, okay, well, great. I'm going to look at Los Gatos and we're going to look at just median price. Okay. And I want both single family homes and I want condos. Great. Okay. On the same chart. Maybe you want the 7-day, maybe you want the 90-day instead, the trend. And then you can change this to a year. So there's a lot you can do with just this one data visualization. Okay. So when it comes to that data, what you'll notice is that you've got access to more, right? When we go and we look at our report, what's awesome about this center chart is that you do have a lot of different statistics that you can look at, right? Well, when you use the advanced analytics, you've got a ton as well. So you use this drop down and you can see all of the statistics that you have access to. You've got advanced, okay? Price decreased, increased, absorbed count, absorbed price median, all of these different things, okay? So you've got access to all this different data, which brings me to my next point. Many of you may have gotten our notification that we now have pending data. I always like to make it really clear that that pending data hasn't quite made it into our market reports quite yet. So if you want access to that pending data, you can gain access to it by upgrading to pending data once you have advanced analytics. The pending data here, when you select it, use the drop down, maybe you want to do a comparison of median price of total inventory, right? So we focus on the active inventory versus pending median, right? And, or you can do the pending of all all pending data. You can do the median of all pending data and compare that with the median of new pending. So remember, we update our data every week, right? And so total pending inventory and the median is one number. And then within the last week, the new pieces of inventory that went pending, what is the median of that data set, right? So that can allow you to see, okay, what homes are selling and what price range is selling. And that's something that you can do here, okay? So definitely worth exploring. So yes, we have all of our data sets, all of our data for the active market, but now in addition to that, you can upgrade to gain access to pending data. Okay. All right, so now again, data visualization type. If you use this dropdown, we have year over year. Year over year is different than how many are used to looking at it. Sometimes you'll hear year over year, a percentage of change. This is different, right? If we click year over year, and we focus on inventory because I think it's interesting here. Basic, make sure we're in the right one. Okay, inventory. So what you'll see here, instead of percent change, we have a line for each year. Put your cursor over it and you can see the inventory for this zip code for 2022, 2023, and then 2024. It's interactive, so you can put your cursor here, right? And you can see the differences in inventory for each year. You can control it, right? So you come down and decide how many years do you want to go back, right? Put your cursor up here. And at the end of the line, you can see, okay, 41 back in 2019 compared to now at 20, half. We're at half the inventory that we had back in 2019. Okay, so this is an interesting story to tell. And for those of you who've taken my training, we know that those charts within the report, each chart that you look at tells a story. So this tool, Advanced Analytics, allows you for more storytelling. It's all about what things do you see that are unique that you can then communicate with your clients. Talk about being an expert in your in real estate, right? So looking at the data in this way, you can go ahead and look year over year. If you want to look at median price year over year, any of the statistics is something that you can do. That makes this data visualization very unique, right? So instead of percent change, you're able to show exactly what those inventory counts were during each of these years, okay? And again, you can customize this, whatever residence type you have, and also time frame. Remember, the 7 days pretty noisy, right? So hopefully that helps there. Now, the next one here is a spark line. Now, this one is one of my favorites. So one of the examples I have as far as using this tool is the scenario of working with your buyer. Your buyer wants to live in a city that has multiple zip codes, right? They're not quite sure where they fit. They've got a budget, but they also have a requirement for their family, say square footage, right? And so what zip codes in that city would they fit based on what their budget is? So you could easily create a chart that is that line chart, right? And so if we back out of this and go to my dashboard, you'll see that I've got my own, and we'll scroll down to this. This is a line chart that has charted a variety of different zip codes within San Jose. And I could put my cursor over this. It gives me historical data, right? Great. But if my concern is really right now and what the median price is today for each of the zip codes, this line chart makes it a little bit more difficult for me to decipher what it truly is, right? Whereas the spark lines, if we scroll up, median price, this is much more simple and easy for me to understand. So the advanced analytics allows you to create different visualizations. You can determine which one meets the need, right? For me, it's much easier for me to see at a glance the different price points, right, of the different zip codes that make up San Jose so that I can effectively communicate to my clients and say, hey, listen, if you're 1.5, let's go ahead and see which one's going to be most suited. Okay. And so that's what the spark line really allows you to do. Again, click on new analysis, go to data visualization, go to spark line. So you might recognize these spark lines because they show up in our report within our real-time market profile. This, remember, gives you 3 months to look back, whereas when you're using the advanced analytics tool, you can decide how far we go back. You could do that 3 months. In fact, in this kind of situation, that's what I would recommend, right? You can go ahead and decide that, yeah, median price is what you want to look at, spark line, and your location, right? So we want to go and say San Jose. Got to type it right. Okay. And again, we can go and grab the unique URLs that we want or unique zip codes that we want. So you build it and you can go ahead because every zip code behaves different in the market, right? So 95124. And you would just go and continue to build this on. You can decide, hey, I want to focus on the last year. Maybe I want to focus on the 3 months. Okay, great. Now, again, if you've taken training with me, what is one of the most exciting things that I like, or what are the things that I like the most about our report is being able to dive in deeper into segments. I mean, if you're going to work with your buyer and you're focused on median price, right? Well, you can dive in a little bit deeper. So you can say, okay, their budget puts them in the lower segment or the higher segment. So those of you who deal with the big houses, right? So the luxury market, the most expensive 25% of properties, you can structure the data so that you're focused on just the median price of the most expensive inventory for each of these zip codes and select top. Okay, great. Or full market. But you can decide how you want to dive in deeper. If they're interested in condos versus single family, great, make sure you make mention. And the 7-day versus the 90-day. 7-day, if you're doing the 3-month, you can see if things are kind of shifting. Looks like this one has prices rising, right? This one's leveling out. Okay. But this allows you to configure this particular data visualization. Okay. Now, the next one is our ranking. This one's awesome. So with our ranking, a use case would be, hey, I'm interested in finding out the top 10 hottest cities within my county. Okay. Well, what makes the market? How do we define the heat of the market? Market action index. Okay. So market action index would be what you'd want to select. Okay. We're going to focus on the last 3 months. Great. Fine. But we're going to say top 10. You can change it too. You want top 20? Great. From highest. So highest, hottest. They have to have a minimum of 10 pieces of inventory, okay? And then the city. Now, I'm going to change this. Is it here? We need to go and define our location. So Santa Clara County. So in Santa Clara County, I want to know the top hottest markets, okay? This will go ahead and be built, and you might want to monitor it over time. So as it stands here, you'll see Sunnyvale is number 1. It's the hottest city in Santa Clara County. It's been that way for as long as I can remember. Okay. So Milpitas is up here. That's kind of new. Santa Clara, Campbell. Now, I do not see Los Gatos. I didn't make the cutoff, right? But this is interesting information. And of course, this is interactive. Now, what do you do with it once you create it? That's a big question. So one of the biggest questions I get is, okay, great. I can create these data visualizations. What the heck do I do with them after? How do I share them? Because with the reports, we have a variety of ways to share them. You've got the unique URL. You've got the ability to download it as a PDF. You can email it to somebody. So what do you do with the data visualization that you create in Advanced Analytics? Well, first, you can choose to save the analysis. That's one. You can add it to the dashboard if your goal is for you to monitor. Every week, you click on your dashboard, you've got an array of different visualizations that you monitor over time, okay? But there's more. So what you can do is come up to these 3 little dots and download the PNG file. That's a standalone file. What makes that great? Well, if you're using Canva, if you're using a Word doc, which I have an example of, if you're using a Word doc because you're old school, no big deal, that's fine. You can take these images and create some supplemental reports. It's not like you're going to go create a customized report and hit a button, convert it to a PDF. Not at this time. You're going to take those individual components and intertwine it into something that you create, whether it's Canva, Word doc, whatever you want to do. But again, you've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Here's a great one. What are the top cities in your county? Okay. Take the PNG, share the PNG on any of your social media sites. Want more information? Send me a note, right? You've got market reports. You've got more visualizations. Now, if you want access to the raw data and you want to use that raw data, then you can go ahead and download the CSV file for that raw data. Now, what if you wanted to add this to your website so that it's present there? Maybe your blog post and it goes and takes the HTML, right? Well, go up to these 3 dots, embed code. Click on the embed code to gain access to the HTML thread necessary to embed this into your web page. And the cool thing is it updates week after week. Okay, just like it updates on my dashboard week after week. Okay, but on your website, it's open for everyone. And again, when you do that, it is interactive. They can put their cursor along it, right? They can see this. They can continue to revisit and go ahead and have it be updated week after week. So if you want to drive traffic to your website, right, try using that embed code. If you want to add it to your dashboard, just click of a button, okay? So this one's really great. Now, there's a difference between the hottest cities in a county and the most expensive, right? So, and that's just changing that statistic. So again, we go down and we find that statistic here. And instead of market action index, we're going to go ahead and say median price. Okay. The most expensive city is Los Altos. And I made the cut, which is not exciting because I want it to be a hot market, but here is Los Gatos. Okay. So here is the top 10 most expensive cities in Santa Clara County. That too can be interesting information for folks, right? And so consider using this rank. And I bring up social media because I think that this is definitely an interesting insight for people on social media, right? It creates engagement into the data and then potentially want to help them more with their own specific location. Okay. So again, don't forget, you want to monitor this over time. Add to your dashboard. Do you want to go ahead and create an image? Come up to those three dots, download the PNG file, access the raw data, or get that embed code and add it to your website. Okay. Now, these three dots exist for every single data visualization that you create. Okay. Now, if we go back to our different types, we've got market profile and market action index. So market profile, we're going to change this again. We're going to go to 95032. Select it. Okay, great. Here you can look that it's a little bit different, right? It's a little bit different than what we saw in our reports. It's just configured a little bit different. But I'm going to give you a use case. It's one of my favorites. So when and if you're using the report itself, the Altos report is a great tool for listing presentations. I've been with Altos for years, right? And one of the things I've always wanted to do is to be able to dive in deeper and have the real-time market profile show me the segment in which I'm looking at. I wanted this information to update when I go and reconfigure the chart, right? Because when you're looking at the report itself, remember, this is a summary of sorts. This is taking into account all active inventory for 95032, right? A whopping 17. But so here is, again, taking into consideration all active inventory. Now, let's say we go here and we're looking at this and I need to dive in deeper because this median isn't really telling the right story for me because my home isn't here at $3 million, right? And so as the expert, you can come down here and talk about the market via segments. Looking at the segments, we take all of the active inventory, we list it from most expensive to least expensive, and then divide that number by 4 so that each segment has the same amount of inventory. This blue represents the most expensive 25% of properties versus the red that represents the least expensive 25% of properties, right? So if I'm focused in a listing presentation on a home that's about 1.3 or 2.3, okay, we're going to want to remove the noise of everything else and focus on just the nature of the market for that particular segment. My wish was that if I deselect from that key down here and only focus on this top or this bottom segment, I'd love for all of the data here to represent just that segment. Wouldn't that be cool? Right? So that I can easily assess the median days on market. I can see the price, the percentage of properties taking a price reduction so that the numbers that were reflected were unique to this particular price point, right? In fact, I'd love this to be what is for that bottom segment. Well, now we can, okay? And so looking at the report here and diving down here, I can go create additional data visualizations and bring those along with me to my listing presentation so that I'm not just talking about the nature of the market for 95032. I'm talking about the nature of the market for that particular home. And I'm providing insight they normally wouldn't have access to. Okay, so that brings me to the next data visualization. That data visualization being the market profile. So here's our market profile for total inventory, but I want to focus on what's most important, that bottom segment. So I'm going to select. Now notice the market action index. It's a strong seller's market. How strong is it though for that bottom segment when we rerun that algorithm? 100. Super hot. Okay. So that speaks a lot, right? When you can go from one to another. What if we were talking to somebody who is in the luxury market? You have a listing presentation and we're going to flip the script. And instead of talking to somebody who's in that bottom segment, you're going to talk to somebody who has a home in that $5 million range. What's the nature of the market for that segment? It's very different. It's a slight seller's market. So because the lower priced inventory is so hot, it's great to have this insight to tell the right story to your folks. And so what you can do is now save this as an image, whether you're using Canva or you're using a Word doc, you can add these images to that document, print it and bring it along with your market report. Because I always advise that you bring along not just the link to the report, but why not go click share full report PDF. Bring this to every listing presentation, but dive in deeper and go into advanced analytics and create those data visualizations that support their home and not just the zip code. Okay. And so this is key for that. And then the other one would be, hey, we do full market versus the market action index. This is all great and fine. Market action index, total inventory. Yeah, it's a strong seller's market. That's great. Okay. Well, if we look at the bottom, we saw the 100. So of course it's as hot as it can be. But what about that top segment? Not only is it 38, but it's also slightly cooler than it was this time last month. This is important insight to be able to provide your sellers and information they wouldn't normally have otherwise. And this visual is such a great one because it's easy, right? It's easy to understand. Obviously, the higher the ticker, the hotter the market. And I love the fact that this answers the question, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market and how much so? But also says, hey, how's the market today and how does it compare to this time last month? Huge. Again, go click on those three dots and you can go ahead and download that image file. Okay. Now, again, I get the conversations of, hey, I don't know how to share this. I love that I can create it. How do I share it? Again, those image files. And so I just kind of threw something together just to show you what I mean by that, right? Because if we go back here to our PDF, this is something that is created from every link you have. Every report you have can be converted into a PDF where you have all of the data necessary, right? And again, highlight the segment that that home falls within and be more specific in your conversations. Take this, provide it. In addition to that, right? I have this where I've taken a screenshot here of the top portion, the summary of sorts, right? Of our online market report. And in addition, I've added the market profile for just the bottom segment and the market action index for just the bottom segment to really show the difference between the two. Okay. And that's super, super helpful. And I'm hoping that this excites you in, hey, a good use case for the advanced analytics. That's super simple, right? It's just a matter of grabbing the report necessary, diving in deeper by creating these data visualizations that help support what you know. That the general summary of sorts is all great and fine, but the reality is you want to dive in deeper. You want to show them the most up-to-date information that you have for their price range, okay? So this is where this can really be helpful, right? And so again, you've got all of these great data visualizations. So like I mentioned, the line graph. You can use the line graph and have multiple locations on one chart, multiple statistics on one chart. Words of caution. Don't mix too many of those things, because if it's hard for you to understand, it's going to be very difficult for someone else to understand. Okay. And so be sure to go ahead and keep it simple, right? But it does allow you to do that comparison. Okay. So if we go back to that line chart, now let's say we want to do Santa Clara County, right? You want to do Santa Clara County. We're going to take out this one. Maybe we want to do median price, and then we want to do pending, and we do price. Easier said than done. I have to median price of pending. And we're going to go back. Yeah, I think 3 months is probably good, but we can do the 7-day. Okay. So that you can do a comparison, median price of total active inventory versus median price of pending. And if you wanted to take this out and do median price of pending, total pending inventory versus median price of new pending, right? So again, so there's lots of configurations that you can do. The key here is taking your time. You need to make sure that whatever it is that you want charted here shows up, right? And you deselect the things that you don't. So you take your time to go through. Just remember that you've got the basic category, which is going to be the 100% active market. You've got the advanced, which is things like percent price decreased, increased, right? Relisted. And then now you've got this pending. So if pending is something that is of interest, be sure to go and upgrade. You can learn more here. Now, Jeff does have 2 blog posts, one that goes over the advanced analytics and one that goes over the pending. So he'll go ahead and put those links in the chat. So feel free to access those. Okay. That'll be definitely a great tool to kind of reiterate what we're talking about today. Okay. All right. So again, the line graph, the year over year inventory can be really great. The spark line is a great way to really see that endpoint. Remember, you can do a line graph that has multiple zip codes, okay? And you'll have lines giving you 5 years worth of data if you want, 1 year worth of data. It's just a little tricky. You can see the change over time, which is great if that's what you're after. But if you're after that end result, what is the current median for all of these zip codes with a little bit of where we've been so we can gauge where we're going, then you're going to want to do that spark line where you choose. See, this is great because this will show you Santa Clara County, and you can have multiple statistics, almost build your own market profile if you'd like, okay? Or you go and you change this and you have Santa Clara County and you have different zip codes, okay? Median pending price. So you can go through and add additional locations on and on, okay? So this is really great to see the end result. And again, you can decide on the date range that is displayed here. But this is a really, really great tool when you're working with buyers and you're trying to help them understand what zip code might be great to look at. So then you can go ahead and provide them a market report for the ones that you decide really fit their need, okay? Then of course you've got that ranking. I really like the ranking. And of course I put it on my dashboard to see how that changes over time. Market profile, again, this is huge for your listing presentations, right? It's even big if you've got your buyers. A lot of times you'll go look at a report and you'll look at the median, or a buyer will look at the median and go, oh man, that's too much. It's out of my price range. What's great about the report is you can dive in deeper. So if your budget is such where, hey, you know, it's in that bottom segment, it's all good and fine as long as the square footage meets your needs, right? And so that is something to take into consideration too. So not only, this isn't only great for your sellers. I just really like that as a great opportunity to incorporate this data, but it's also great for buyers too. Okay. Now, if you're doing open houses and you've attended training, you know that I'm a huge advocate for using the reports at your open house. And I definitely recommend that you continue to do so. You can always add some flair here too, okay? So if you wanted to create some data visualizations that you create a document that you have at your open house, great. Hopefully at this point, you now see that there's lots of value that you can get by using the advanced analytics, right? That it's not too complicated, I promise. And so just so you're aware, like I mentioned, Jeff has access to 2 links for those blog posts. If you come up here under help, you'll see that there is the advanced analytics tutorial. You may or may not have seen it, right? So if you don't access the help, you wouldn't know that it exists, but this is a great overview of each one of those data visualizations so that it can reiterate what we talked about today, because I know that this is a lot of information, but if you go watch this tutorial, it'll really help nail down how you can configure each of these different data visualizations, okay? If you ever need to contact support and you have a question, hey, don't worry. Just send us a note. We're happy to help out, okay? So as you can see, it's just some thought and some brainstorming. You really can leverage your Altos account. Now, again, if you don't have access to advanced analytics at this time, please feel free to reach out to support if you have additional questions. If you'd like to upgrade to premium, remember, log into your account, click on New Report, click on Counties, search for your county here, and you'll be prompted to upgrade. Once you upgrade to that premium, you will unlock the advanced analytics. Now, I have the benefit of having an established dashboard. So when you first initially click on analytics, it may feel pretty intimidating because it's just a gray screen. It's up to you to build your dashboard. So I have things like the market profile here, okay? I have the market action index, which is our ranking, of course, giving us the ranking of the top 10 in Santa Clara County. Here's our median price. Now, again, this is using the spark lines. I love it because the end result is here, right? I don't have to go try to figure it out by putting my cursor on the dot. Scroll down, and this is the median price of these different zip codes. It's the same that I did here, but now it's laid out. It gives me some historical data if I feel like that's important. This is inventory year over year with Santa Clara County. Okay, so we can go right to the end of the line as far as this year and compare it each year at this time. Okay, so you get to be in charge in what is shown on your dashboard. Okay, and if you save your analysis or you choose, so if I don't want to have this here any longer, click on the dots and I can archive. When you archive, it goes to recent analysis and it keeps track of all of them, and you can choose which ones turn on your dashboard. Okay, so you might want this time and not later. That's great. So another thing I've done as a cheat, I suspect, you use a Word doc if you want, but if you go to analytics and you have your dashboard and you've configured your dashboard, okay, and you'd like to share this dashboard, you can monkey with it a little bit. You can change your view, just make it smaller, right? And then take a screenshot. And let's say you wanted to share just that information. You can do that. That's a quick cheat. So I just zoomed out, got what I wanted, take a screenshot, and then share that image with your clients if that's what you want to do. So don't forget that. So if you like your dashboard and you want to go ahead and share it that way, you're welcome to do that. In the future, we're hoping to be able to export your dashboard into a PDF. So fingers crossed that comes soon. All right. All right. Well, I hope that this was exciting. I hope that you are now curious as to, what you might use advanced analytics for. If you don't have it now, I hope to see that you upgrade. Remember, you don't have to commit to it for months on end. See how it works for you. Reach out with any questions that you might have. Don't forget all of the information that you've got access to under help here, okay? So again, quick start. If you need a refresher on how to use the platform, go ahead, look at that tutorial. If you need guidance on understanding the report, please don't hesitate, watch that tutorial as well. We've got the advanced analytics tool. The report explainer is a great cheat sheet for understanding that market report. And of course, contact support with any questions that you might have. And if you want a face-to-face, you're welcome to go ahead, click on book a one-on-one with me. Okay, and we'll go through whatever questions you might have. But I do appreciate your time today. I hope you found it very valuable. I hope that the chat function worked well and that you guys are inspired to get started with advanced analytics. You guys have a great afternoon. I'll stay on the line for a bit and see what's going on in chat. Otherwise, have a great week. And I look forward to seeing you in the next Lunch and Learn. Take care.